tell you that 6 years ago, this was a mountain that was something like 100 meters out of the sea, 340 feet, and there was no island. So roughly in 2 years, a man-made island the size of Kowloon Peninsula, something like 6 kilometers long and 3.5 kilometers wide, has been made out of sea water. Only 25% of it was the mountain, which has since been leveled. This building is one of a number of projects that come together to make the airport. And as a single building, it's the largest building in the world, and it's the largest single airport terminal in the world. In a way, it's almost like a kind of collective Guinness Book of Records. This total venture is an extraordinary act of vision for the future by the airport authority and also by the government. I'm going to ask somebody to take my coat because I can't do the balancing act with it. Thank you. Keeps falling off. How I would actually furnish my own home if I happen to be the owner rather than having created a home for somebody else is a completely different question. In other words, I can't move across from being the architect to inhabiting the place, and I think that there is a certain quality about Hong Kong which is full of spontaneity, of life, of chance happenings, and therefore on a building of this scale, the roof is almost like an artificial sky, and it's inevitable that that there's going to be an eruption of variety and colours and styles and so on. That wouldn't be necessarily how I would do it myself. If I owned this as a house, it would probably be quite different. But if you also owned it as your house, you'd probably furnish it quite differently too. The reality is that this is Hong Kong, it is where it is, and it has powerfully very much that signature, that stamp of the place. And I think in a way you have to consider that designed from the outset is a building which is a foil and allows change to take place within it. It allows individuals to stamp their own personality and character. It has to have that latitude, it has to be generous enough to be able to do that. It cannot be so precious that one reacts against a plant here, a piece of sculpture there, a shop there, because that is the nature of the city, and this is a city in miniature.
攞晒啲嘢俾佢就得㗎，攞晒俾你，攞月餅啊！打咁耐有冇仔？啱啱先滾啫嘛。你睇我水都未滾。
Seen being made. This thing is huge. I think this is, but if it's about structure, I guess you need to do that. If you don't do that, I'd be surprised if it can move.
我睇啊，就講上面嗰啲蟲仔真係啦。咩話嘅？哇！屌你老母成送緊咗細魚先㗎！屌你老母成閪㗎！喂，後邊揾條大攤掃落去，成架出咗嚟。差呢個去隔離嗰度嘅。頭先嗰隻，我要翻轉頭先講嗰啲仲話咩骨
Museum of Modern Art. Museum of Modern Art. It will help. Look at the perfect square.
一定出好咁噶啦！我哋出咗嘅陣時，政府話好，俾我哋地，我哋係臨時，我哋住喺那個美窩農場，美窩係一個農場夜間房，我哋喺呢度住。朝早食早餐之後啦，一個人要把鋤頭給行上咁樣後邊，咁樣俾咗呢度落嚟之後刮地。平野的地方，在那度就要修條路，最少要修路到碼頭。修了一條路是到碼頭，之後呢，我哋買啲建築材料啊、輕工業啊，就喺那度一步，開始跟起來一個木，那個牛牆，那個還那個樓， 修道，我以前嘅修道房。
哦。
修道房入樽都係呢度，呢個係去得最早1952嘅時候開燒啦。那個51，因為政府係咁樣，政府以前寫宣傳，佢話要開發大嶼山，但係講就係講冇人嚟。嗰陣時我哋首先第一批首先到呢度啦，後來寄回了英國登報了。哎呀，我哋宣傳即係講，寄去 Tourist 第一批發展那個大嶼山來了。Gabriel 高中代表還可以來參觀我哋個山，佢參觀我哋個山是那係我。嗰陣時係瘦了，我以前還好瘦。
你第一個是他帶隊來，
到香港來，我哋食飯，我哋大多數人都係北方人，估計我哋唔識用廣東話。如果將來廣東人多了，都好，我哋就可以用廣東話。因為我哋以前係保持以前嗰啲老傳統，夜晚嗰時去山祈禱，你冇辦法祈禱啦，要做工啦。我嗰啲要知識幾嚟嘛嚇，我哋外出時嗰啲生活要做工。而家好多青年係啲，佢哋終於好似終於公司啦嘛嚇，color 那個。而家做工啦，佢哋好辛苦。我哋而家冇養鵝啦，因為冇人養啦。而家嗰啲青年嚟，嗰啲香港嗰啲人嚟，冇一個人佢中意養鵝。
重新黐過啊！
一長知佢點解？
調轉曬㗎口，
一重新黐過幾塊對啊！
仲咪瞓覺啊？係啊，出嚟嘅。
睇啫嘛。我今日整完先翻，想急乾仔，慢慢嚟。
哇！識唔識戒指啊？
擔係唔怕啦。
我跌翻落呢度。啱啊！唉，老遠啦，
自己保重自己，最后给你18岁，你跳了跳下去，他也没有办法。所以我有798，你听过吗？养生之道，我给你看。对，不抽烟，不喝酒，不生气，不欢心，对不对？不吃过量，不多运动，不多祈祷，其伤神伤，还有呢，轻生，爱心。现在呢很少这个爱心。没有爱了，给你传东西了，给你打死了，哪里有爱了？切搞心了，跟着配合起来，靠人要配合起来。 这个意思。啊，听到？一包烟啊，一天啊，2包，监考15年，最后给你180岁，你剩下85了。意思懂不懂？以前中国很规格的，对吧？很规格，跟现在就不一样了。你看18年以前很好规矩，现在哪里有抽烟？这都还不行啊，完全不一样。以前有辫子了，啊，我都有了。后来到民国整下去了，好强以前，天天妈妈跟我说了。
我呢張係咪嗰啲嚟㗎？爆唔得。嗰頭啊！死啊！睇場啊！坐喺呢度幾個鐘啊！你諗咩？咩呀？差佬坐喺度，喺度。點解？有一個口，邊3個人都得。哇！燒鳩啊！呢個嘢。話佢喺度啦。慢慢嚟，慢慢嚟，唔急唔急。我先冇
The first weeks that I was on it, our computer was in another monk's room. And so I didn't get to use it very often, but when I got to use it, this was even before I had an email address, I had a good look at everything, okay, to see what was there. So I did a lot of surfing the net, right? So I did a lot of surfing the net to see what everything was on there. So I satisfied my curiosity about what was there, and then made my decision about how I wanted to use it. One of the nice things about the internet is I have contacted people who I have been out of contact with for 30 years. And I'll find their address and I'll contact them and it'll be wonderful. And for any given person, a person's God is what that person gives first priority to. Many people say they believe in God, but but they don't give first priority. God, so their God is the dollar, or their God is sexual experience, or their God is the internet, or their God is whatever. Whatever they give first priority to, this is their God, quote unquote.
Yeah.
When you were in the refugee camp, did you, you got along, you survived, and your parents weren't there, your family wasn't there, nobody of your fellow, nobody you knew was there in the camp, you were all alone. I said, do you think it was better than being with your family? About the same with the church.
好，慢慢過，慢慢過。
放手俾人定啊！
哦，而家落到差唔多嗰條橋嗰度，係。你望下天空有隻孔明燈啊，睇喺度啊？睇唔睇到孔明燈啊？望翻上嚟啊！係啊，望翻上嚟望到㗎啦。好係咁咯，我而家落緊嚟㗎。
大隻啫，大隻嚇。
大隻好隻咗好多嘅，佢傳到氧氣啊嘛，邊個啊？喺度扯上，喺度扯上去啊！好難燒啊！一升到咁上下好難燒啊！
What I did was I built this model of the Lop Sop Chung, and that was the first poster. I took these pictures myself, and that was the days before you had Photoshop.
Yeah.
And you can see by, this is at the top of the peak, you can see that it looks like a barren island.
Okay, you can start to shoot now. I need some.
Before the campaign, in about 1969, some people came to me from the New Territories, government people, and said, could you do a poster, put the litter in the bin for the New Territories? And I was fairly new to Hong Kong. I'd been driving around the New Territories, which you could drive around those days. And it was nice and countrified and everything. But I said, well, you know, I've never seen a litter bin in the whole of the New Territories. And they said, well, we try to keep them as inconspicuous as possible. You know, we don't want to spoil the look of the countryside. And I said, well, how many have you got? And he said, 6. And there were 6 litter bins in the whole of the New Territories.
You wouldn't see it anyway.
And they were actually oil drums.
Oh,
and I went along the next weekend to try and find one of these. They gave me the location. What it was a sort of rusty oil drum with full of water with put your litter in the bin on it. And they had no, even if people put it in, litter in the bin, they had no sort of system for emptying the bin. So you get some idea of how primitive it was, you know, in that respect.
生 B B 係天賦嚟嘅，即係我覺得係個 gift 嚟咯，好多生仔。好多人 try very hard 都生開咗，同事 try 咗成2年啦，係咁搏命 try。佢第一胎都小產咗，咁佢而家第2胎 OK 啦，可以翻。有好多人係好想做呢樣嘢嘅，咁我覺得唔會嘥咗佢咯。你即係你經歷下都話要 given to be a woman。即係如果你冇去經歷過，我覺得係一個好浪費。好多嘢，即係我覺得係一個好大部分嘅 miss 嚟嘅。如果你唔去 try。
For this I did a book of drawings of Hong Kong, 76 I think it came out. This was fun to do. But somewhere in here I've got a thing called New Drawings. These are ones I did of Jardine and Matheson when, you know, just before the handover, Jardines wouldn't give pictures of Jardine and Matheson, so I did a couple of drawings of them. So these were just pencil drawings, and I put them in ovals to make them look oldie. So they're not quite fakes. This is a t-shirt we never did of Patton leaving Hong Kong. This is Discovery Bay with all the things you're not allowed to do. That was fun to do, yeah. This is our golf course in Discovery Bay. A confrontation, East meets West.
生活已經會令你逐漸去失去你原本嘅 gift 嘅嘢。如果你唔去做嗰啲嘢，去 try to keep it 咧，你 keep on losing。但我有個好好機會就係我可以跳舞，有好啲嘢我可以 keep 得翻。透過跳舞我可以 keep 得翻，透過跳舞可以 keep 啲 sensitive 去 aware of 個去，然後可以 appreciate life。如果你冇呢樣嘢去 keep 住你 appreciate 嘅時候，你就唔會 give。你唔會 give 嘅時候，你唔會 take action。你冇 action 嘅時候，你個 life 就咁樣去做。係咪先？即係你 this is what is love。呢個叫做 video camera， 識唔識啊？係啦 ，video camera， 愛嚟錄影你㗎。第時大個你可以睇翻你細個嗰陣時點樣咯，好唔好啊？
Cross on a red light. So often they do, some people do, but you know, so, and it's gradually, it's always been gradually working. When you have a clean Hong Kong campaign, it's always 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. And this time it's about 5 steps forward. And we'll have to see whether it's 4 steps backward.
雙十國慶喺香港仍然係支持到今時今日，我哋戰勝咗6大雨，因為我哋嘅國慶晚會仍然順利進行。我哋嘅席數係去到幾多位啊？葉秘書38位，打破歷屆嘅舉行。喺度係好多謝各位父老叔伯嘅支持，更希望大家記實我哋嘅國慶唔單止今年，希望一路做落去，因為海峽兩岸嘅談判和平嘅統一係喺眼前，因為仲有4日，辜先生要到去上海、北京、上海傾談，相信會帶一個更加好消息俾大家聽到嘅。我哋呢一代人一定見到我哋中國人一定會統一㗎，希望大家記實，我哋係龍的傳人。跟住嚟，我哋大嶼山有好多發生嘅事跟住落去㗎，有區議會嘅改選啊，跟住明年嘅區議員嘅選舉啊，希望呢8個字送俾大家：自由永在，民主長存。選嘅就呢4個字，不講民主，不講自由嘅，我哋抌低張票，冇投去，好唔好啊？
I think the town is illegal.
最後我喺度
It's illegal
恭祝各位身體健康之外咧，更喺度希望大家同我一聲高呼自由中國萬歲！中國人萬歲！多謝各位，仲得鼓掌好嗎？羅英先生建一次筆大會，想唔到我哋嘅自由人士係不甘後人，只要做好今晚嘅儀式，大家係開心到底嘅。其實大嶼山係大嶼山嘅人所擁有啊！其實民主、自由呢4個字嘅人嘅票，多謝各位。
Man is in love. How do I know? He came and walked with me, and he told me so. In a song he sang, and then I knew a man is in love with you. A man is in love. How did I guess? I figured it out while he was watching you dress. He'd give you his all if you but agree. A man is in love, and he's me.
我果然係成也恩怨，敗也恩怨。正是，你應該向君王請罪。謝將軍指點。 太子，睇嚟全國已經有準備，點辦啊？殺唔到楚昭王，得，只為等五將軍死後，父皇一直等城門打開，你哋跟我一齊衝殺入城，快話俾班將士聽。係。
冇話唔俾掛，經過偷啫佢。英女王嘅英女王嘅影咯，佢好多呢啲嗰啲英女王嗰啲唔三唔四我影㗎。咁乜都唔影喎，就收山影。冇影我啊！你話影嗰啲相唔緊要，你唔好影我。我知。
Death of death and hell's destruction, land me safe on Canaan's side. Strong deliverer, strong deliverer, be thou still my strength and shield. Be thou still my strength and shield.
We're essentially at the base of the Nam Sham trail on the opposite side. We've got a beautiful garden set with a stream you can see running through. And voila. And this used to be owned by some Chinese people a Chinese family up to approximately 9 years ago. They were growing fruit and vegetables. Mostly the fruit consisted of either wampei and lychee, but they were growing citrus up on this bank, citrus trees. The remnants of those are still there, and they're actually a good source of food for the swallowtail, some of the swallowtail butterfly species. So this is why we get a large number of swallowtails in this garden. Now also, we're surrounded by a lot of native forest. We're lucky to have a lot of native species of trees, shrubs and climbers growing, and these actually provide a good base for the caterpillars to feed on these plants, and then they can fly into this garden, and we're putting in more flowers and also a few more for food-bearing plants for caterpillars, and we're hoping to increase the number of butterflies in the garden. Now, I was talking to a butterfly specialist, and he reckoned that could be as many as between 100 and 150 species of butterflies in this area. Now that sounds a lot, but in Hong Kong there's 225 species of butterflies, which is an immense amount. The diversity is quite tremendous. If you compare this to somewhere like New Zealand, which only has 17 species, and the UK, which has 55 species, and you consider the size of Hong Kong, and that is fantastic.
呢個兩面針咧，嗱生到幾多針？而家睇到啊，呢度睇到密密實實啦。呢兩面針啦，生啊有嗱幾多針啊？大係有針啊啦，呢叫兩面針啊，正式。呢邊有蠟，呢邊打中係有蠟睇到啦。嗱呢棵係正式有用㗎啦。 鐵打子嚟㗎，咁啊你掹出嚟都可以做得鐵打㗎。烘濕鐵打用啊，又刮咗嗰陣皮，呢個都係㗎，真係唔使鋤頭都得㗎啦。細細鋪啊咁嘅，兩面針啊呢啲葉入面嘅，做鐵打用啊嗰度嚇。有溝好多肉嘅，呢啲係天冬時啊，呢啲天冬啊嗰一啲高乾種，天冬時啦，天冬個頭先有用啊，嗰粒分子仔咁嘅咧，就有用啊。呢個叫做爆炸葉啦，有睇冇啊？燒仔稀濕啊，嚇細路仔啊開胃啲啊，嗰類啊，個煲齋葉啊，哦，超過1000幾種㗎啦，呢個生土肉嗰類啊，你通常有啲識嘅，有啲唔識嘅嘛。
Well, this is the hybrid hibiscus, and actually in there you see the spider there. That's a spider that catches butterflies. In fact, the butterflies won't feed on this because there's no nectar. This is a normal species of hibiscus. Yeah, this is the common hibiscus, but this is hybridized. The flower is larger, so this has no nectar. This particular flower. It's very pretty, but it won't attract butterflies.
呢啲胭脂草嚟嘅，識唔識？胭脂草呢啲茶裏有會紅紅啲嘅，有啲好似胭脂咁啊，少少係紅紅啲，胭脂草嚟嘅。呢啲係人哋種嚟咧，好似俾嗰啲落雨嗰陣時俾嗰啲細細粒嗰啲叫水黐咧喐嘅，落咗雨多咧俾你咬親啦，即係有時人哋攞嚟搽好似止痕啊咁嘅。
Build a butterfly park in Lantau. On Lantau, in a valley. A valley area should be chosen because it has all native species of plants that provide food to the caterpillars of the butterflies. And if the suitable area was chosen and planted suitably, then it would be a good, not only a good education source, but a good source of tourists as well.
金邊啦，兩邊啊，金邊紅尾草啊，一行金邊底又唔同，同面唔同啊嘛。呢啲靚啲啊，補得清，紅水嗰類啊靚啲啊，可以用西乾啊，可以備用嘅呢啲用，掹出嚟西乾去備。呢啲啊，紅尾草多啦。多靚啊！金邊紅嗰度㗎呢啲。金邊紅尾草嚟。
Anyway, within this area, we're taking out all the common species that have grown up of trees. Trees like the Melotus paniculatus, and also the Micrococcus paniculatus. And we're actually trying to encourage plants like Litzia glutinosa, which are good for butterflies, Evodia mellifolia, Evodia lepta, which sound complicated, but these are actually native tree species which will actually increase the number of butterflies within this area. So if we're taking out the common trees that are actually have no use, then and we increase the numbers by planting and by letting the other plants grow naturally, then the number of butterflies will hopefully increase. Yeah, we're also, as well as planting plants of butterflies. We're also planting some exotics as well. We've got the white musianda here, which is quite beautiful. A white hibiscus. Of which there are many colours. We've got the giant yellow alamander. There's a much better one there. The giant yellow alamander. And this is a good plant for the swallowtails, Pentus lanceolata. They love this. One of their favourite snacks. Pentus lanceolata. The red one. There's a pink one that they don't like actually. Again, it's a hybrid. Here's a beautiful climber. This is called Clitoria ternata.
珍珠草有人叫珍珠草啦，加油金仔樹、稀積啊嗰類啊嚇，油金子啊，油金子草嚟㗎，粒油金子喺度啊生啊。霸王花而家可能多一個月6月到5月幾啊，會開花㗎啦，5月幾啊，5月幾開花啦，即係過咗5月節啦。有霸王花可以清熱喺度止咳即係氣管炎。 煲淋百合、瘦肉，即係無花果過嚟清用噶啦，叫霸王花啦，又叫劍花啦嚇。
That's the exotic garden, and then this is a semi-natural garden, semi-natural, but it's difficult. It's trying to strike a balance. Here are two plants side by side. This is an exotic called heliconia. This is a heliconia, which is quite beautiful, orange bird-like flowers. And here, this is another plant. This is some seed I collected and planted. This is Celosia argentea, and a number of butterflies are actually attracted to the flowers of this.
Lantau 你呢度嗰2粒孖字啊，有啲係睇唔出係同嗰啲葉色嘅。
Look. Here, this is just showing. This is a spider which has caught a swallowtail butterfly in flight as it was feeding on the flower. So this is a catching spider, and this is what the butterflies are up against, unfortunately. At the top we have striped bamboo, a nice stem. When the sun's out and hits it, it's quite beautiful.
Wow, like this. 夠食啊你！嗰啲咩蟲啊咩食晒，即係呢個狗尾蟲，即係專食嗰啲嘢，龍眼啊，食花咬嗰啲果啊。啲蛋嚟嘅，即係臭皮蟲啊，專食龍眼花啊、荔枝啊、鏈粒咧，頭先嗰隻嘅蛋嚟嘅。
It just takes time. For them to grow. And other plants I put in here. The other night I put in 2 plants here. Within an hour, they've been eaten. And that's the kind of thing I'm up fighting against all the time. That's how big it is. These are the beautiful open pods with the black seeds hanging down of Stericula lanceolata, a very common native tree. It's like a spaceship.
星星幾好食㗎。 即係入邊係嗰啲紙嚟嘅。嗱，大樹菠蘿都適合嘅。呢啲種啊，有3、2年就大棵。荔枝啊，而家冇俾人種咗4、5年都啲咁細棵都唔適合啊！呢個土地。寫住煲冬瓜嘅咧，氣濕粥嚇，氣濕粥紅字嗰種嚇。
Yeah, they're great Mormon butterflies. There's 2 males chasing a female.
Cái人好化啫，咧我中西合璧嘅，我韓國唔得得，初日食乜嘢，我全科嘅人才嚟㗎，都搞成咁樣嘅。
Okay, sing it. Come on, Yak, sing it.
This is what I know.
Come on, sing it.
942 alors que j'ai...
I think we should go upstairs just to make a point. We should not travel here.
24小時後用啊，你哋。
我諗呢啲 election 唔公平啊！真係啊！我嘅心講啊！
都話我選就選黃大仙。
往年一選
黃大仙啊，有求必應啊！
問我選邊個，我選中標嗰個。
Somebody playing it before?
Yeah, I've got 2 people. Well, I was trying to find a picture of this Ding Fei Fei. So, she's a pop star. Well, they're trying to make her into a pop star. Starries from Starries people. Jackie Chan found it. This is an electric 1-string bass.
It's wicked. I'll take a picture of that. It's like
Yeah. It worked. I'll plug it in.
Right, electric one.
Signed by Tony Levin, who's got 2 of them. Tony Levin was Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, I know Tony Levin. I saw him when Gabriel did his. I've seen Gabriel 4 times.
Yeah, I used to work for him. I don't build anything electric. And I go, what's an Erhu? And he goes, don't know what an Erhu is. Oh, is it one of those things that looks like a broom handle with a dog food can and a bit of snake skin on the front of it? That sounds fucking awful. Yeah, that's it. Oh, okay. But I want you to make it because they want to turn this woman into like Vanessa May.
What sort of wood do you use?
Well, they call tone woods, I suppose. This is not a tone wood. I built this out of scraps that I had left over from experiments. Stuff on the back, stuff called shedua.
Yeah.
The front is stuff called imbuya, Brazilian. But it all comes from sustainable forests.
Oh, right.
I'm going to take this to bits. A good boiling. Because this is natural wood. It's no. I don't use on my guitars. I don't use any like lacquer or anything.
Oh, right.
It's just oil.
Just oil.
Yeah.
Listen, you folks are going to be on television.
日本仔走啦喎，我哋中國和平咁咪冇爭題咯，冇燒啦，冇人燒柴嘛，個個都燒石油氣燒料嘛。香港開通啊嘛，香港開通就有石油氣，點石油氣都掂嘛，有30-40年吧有。我老豆嗰啲拆骨啊，我老豆嗰魚咯，骨咗蟹咯。我老豆啊，拆啊捉俾啊，咁骨咗蟹啊。好多拆佬而家嗰陣時啊，18年都有。我媽係啲熟我老豆啊。我聽我哋阿媽講啫嘛，即係阿媽講唔明我哋睇。我哋嘅講啊，我哋阿媽咁講㗎，即係講聽㗎，講古仔啫嘛。阿媽講古仔俾我聽㗎，講古仔俾我聽。唔係嗰啲㗎，我哋阿媽講落㗎嘛。喺日本仔嚟我哋就知嗰下啦，哇50-60年啦我都80幾歲咯，我都未出世，係咪啊？
He started getting loads of vegetable bargain with it.
Bribed grandma.
Yeah, sometimes we buy something he never see, and then bought it back. What is it? What is it? 買苦瓜翻嚟，冇人食。絲瓜、苦瓜，佢未見過冇噶嘛？英國冇呢啲嘢，買晒翻嚟咧，一個合掌瓜，一個呢啲瓜，一個嗰啲瓜，擺晒成張台。我阿嫲咧就喺度。教佢呢樣嗱呢個咁佢又走嚟問我呢個叫咩名？呢個叫咩名？轉頭落去話俾我阿嫲聽，轉頭已經講錯名，我阿嫲拗晒頭都唔知佢乜。
冇出香港好少就唔止啊，好少就唔止喎，冇出過香港冇香港啊！哇！真係由香港啊，真係由掟去香港㗎，啱冇㗎。嗰陣時去唔去香港我都唔識啦。嗱你50年前啩，就用隻船啊咩咁就話香港，啲話因為由香港㗎冇個。啲又冇唔知啊，我唔識。冇香港講啊。
I'm not fighting for power. I'm not fighting for money.
We're just fighting for the rights.
You know, as you know, I am a big developer in town. Why should I move here? I love the surrounding. You know, give me a piece of land. That's all. Because I own so many property here. I own the property here because for the sale. You know. If I go to the cup house, they stop the cup house. It's no restaurant, it's nothing. You know. Since then, one thing is big It's big scandal inside. I don't know. I don't know what happened. You know. That's why the ICAC are deeply involved in this. 中國人講就黑箱作業。就係中意佢個環境。你睇個環境幾 peaceful。你而家咧香港喺邊度可以揾得到？ You spend a lot of money maybe on the top of the mountain, you know, but not everyone can afford it, you know. But here is only at the beginning $500,000 per one track. That's why I buy so many apartments. It's cheap.
Decided it was not suitable to have a prison next to Disney.
$16 billion for maybe 7,500 prisoners, maybe 12,000. That works out at $1.5 million to $2 million a cell. That strikes me as being pretty expensive compared to...
Again and again, and that is our dear government has no understanding of macroeconomics. It only does the economics of one sector at a time. It doesn't ever study the overall macroeconomics of a particular aspect and the impact along the line.
And a super prison, to have such a big community there, was that actually what the prisoners wanted? As Cecilia said, she said if you're in a very automated prison where things are controlled electronically, you see less people, there's less human contact. Can we think about urban renewal? Can there be a smaller prisons opening up that also cater specifically?
依家我哋呢邊咧都有呢度咧呢一帶咧都有啲財團嚟收，咁你睇下咩價錢咯，都係好多都賣晒。 隔離村賣晒啦，隔離村嗰啲地都賣晒啦。佢邊有祖屋喺度，佢賣晒啲農地啫，啲祖屋仲喺度。佢唔知嘅，佢唔知。佢玩嗰啲嘢，佢話：你唔使講，佢永遠唔會去。佢。 嗌佢去東涌飲下茶，佢都話貴嘅。老頭唔到，嗰啲唔識咁，呢都唔識。
到嗰陣時有直個環水道嘅，有環水道啊！我哋消防員走落環水道度，嗰人嗰漁民嗰撐啊，撐翻佢火場嚟救火。
嗱，呢啲真係火燒旗杆長灘，呢啲長灘。
咁以前咧仲用乜用？以前就用嗰啲木桶啊，如果火出啊，淨係漁民㗎，揈下上，揈下上，揈下落，揈下上，揈下落咁樣㗎。
係啊，咪嗰間咪就係新起，係威係勢尾嗰間，勁搞笑啊！
如果你香港翻嚟嘅幫彈啊，啲嗰啲人佢做唔掂㗎，你知啦，幾多唔識，都唔識搖腦，嗰陣時撐出搖腦喎，以前，真係講60年代、50年代嗰陣時啊，因為呢度佢棚矮啊嘛，除咗邊邊。 嗰居民齊心合力㗎嘛，消防員同個居民，大家一齊合作。
奇怪喎，整咩石獅子喺度？
睇視錄嗰啲好慘啊，喺度。即係末日嗰啲唔好話即刻末日㗎啦，但係咁樣整下東整下西咁啊，嗰啲人咧就係。 好話唔好聽，都係整下咁咧，就越嚟越慘噶啦。我都係信嗰啲信地。 伊拉克佢同佢打嗰時，佢咪個個乜對本聖經落佢個身嚟嘅，嗰啲鬼佬佢打仗啊，個個都有本聖經，我電視睇到，佢死咗話佢做得神啊嘛，你係咪有譜㗎？呢啲冇譜㗎嘛，神就好似我哋牧師講話㗎，呢啲神係人為啊嘛，先做得神咧？佢獻上嗰啲先至叫做神啊嘛，啱唔啱啊？
Are you feeling thirsty? No? Thirsty! Give me the booze, I got a back case of beer abuse. No one knows who I am. Pretty face.
1949年6月15日，毛泽东主席在中国人民政治协商会议筹备会上的讲话。
beginning a grand circle tour of the Magic Kingdom with a stop in Fantasyland.
各位太空探险家，为了您的安全，请在座位上坐好，请将您的胳膊和手脚放在火星里面，并请照顾好您的小孩。现在准备出发。各位太空巡逻员，您的太空任务已经延误，请在座位上坐好。
哇，好酷哦！来，看看，咦，哇，这里一个恐龙，一起来看图片。
大家做得好好啊！多謝你哋參與。Great job, everyone! Thank you for joining us. 你们做得很好，谢谢各位参与。
係時候要出發啦，老友記！
我们已经进入探险世界，大自然造就的奇妙美景，一次惊险刺激的探险，去往世界上神秘而遥远的地方。
But I'm not saying that Disney's a good thing or a bad thing. It's not my thing, but you know, a lot of people like it, and that's fine. All we are saying is that it should be discussed. People should be aware of the choices and know what the choices are.
火车将于单程前往3个火车站，宽敞之间火车站。到站后请手并客全部刹车，全部刹车，谢谢合作。
拜拜。